I like this sound. Let's make the whole song around it. I'm gonna put sound geyser on it to make it even fatter. Yeah. For the intro, I'm gonna create this simple pattern where each note is a little bit longer than the last one. And at the end, we switch the octaves. So it's gonna be like this. Let's put it in. Also press this button right here and I'm gonna automate the depth and the timbre. So just move them, right click, create automation clips. I'm gonna automate them like so. So it starts really deep and slowly opens up. That's our intro ready to go. And you might be thinking, what the hell is this track going to sound like? Well, I don't know. Next, let's add these cool rides and create this interesting effect. So here's the ride. But what we're gonna do is crossfade it all the way. So now it repeats. And we're gonna adjust the start time. Like so. So we have this sound. And I'm gonna repeat them like this. Also, I adjust the note pan, so they are a little bit more in the left and then the right speaker. So that's gonna be right here in the intro. Now let's move to the drop or something like that. I'm gonna duplicate the timbre automation and we're gonna create a little bass melody. So the same sound, but this melody. And it's gonna repeat throughout the song. Let's put it in and it's gonna automate the same way as before, but without the depth automation. Pretty cool. Now we need to support this with a badass drum beat. So here's what we have. Kick. Just a simple big kick from my sample pack, STPL Sounds. Link is below in the description. You only pay once and you get access to all of my sample packs. And not only that, afterwards you'll be receiving brand new sample packs every month for free forever. So check it out and expand your library. And then we have this snare, which is 2 snares and 1 clap, to create a powerful punch. Then we have some stomps and this one. So I combine them into a rhythm and it sounds like this. But it doesn't have much power, so what we're gonna do is add some distortion. So I'm gonna add fast distortion to this track. Now it sounds like this. A bit more distorted. Also a crash. Now our drum beat sounds like this. Pretty interesting and pretty powerful. But to make the snares have a bit more release and reverb, I'm gonna add transient processor. So let's add transient processor to the snare and increase the release quite a bit, like so. Now it sounds like this. So the release of the snare is way longer and has more power. I actually automated the release, so it's on the first snare hit and it's off on the second one. Now we have an interesting effect. So far it sounds like this. Pretty interesting. Still don't know what genre this is. I'm gonna repeat the same thing again, but spice it up a little bit. So the same drums, but this time I also added back the ride. Also this loop, just in the background. I adjusted the transient processor automation, so the full snare plays 3 times, and I also added yet another snare, which is this one. If you have my packs, you can check it out. So we just want everything to have a bit more power. I could imagine this in some sort of a movie or something. It's a bit of a rock song, but it wouldn't be a rock song without an electric guitar. So that's what we're gonna add right now. I got this guitar from Nexus called Power Chords and created the same melody as the bass, but this time it's with an electric guitar. And as you can see, it goes from low velocity to high velocity. So it's gonna come in really slowly. I also automated the modulation wheel, which changes the tone of the guitar. And now we have this. It's picking up some heat, so it has this psycho vibe. So that's why I want to add one more psycho sound. That's why I'm gonna add this guitar and create a little melody. Really simple one like this. Sounds like this. Not psycho enough. So I'm gonna add Shaper Box with this preset, which makes it sound like this. Really weird. And then Hardcore, which will destroy it completely. Now we got a really weird sound, and that's what I wanted. So it sounds like this. But now, the star of the show, let's add a vocal. I generated this vocal using AI. Some producers hate this, but I like it. It's a really simple way to get custom vocals for your track. If you want to know how I did this, I showed you in the previous video. I used Suno, but I'm not gonna go into details here. Check out my previous video on how to make custom vocals. But I wrote some lyrics, and this is what it generated.
Wild nights, wake up the dead. Wild life, wild life, wild life, wild life.
Pretty crazy if you ask me, but that's exactly what I wanted for this track. But we are not done yet. We want to add some effects on this vocal. So I added some reverb,
Wild life,
some delay,
wild life, take me away.
distortion, because I want to distort everything in this track,
Wild life, take me away.
but that's too much probably. That's why next I added some EQ to lower some of the frequencies and lower the high frequencies especially.
Wild life, take me away.
So we got this speaker effect almost. Then I added stereo shaper with the Stereoize 2 preset, so it's more in the left and right speakers instead of in the middle of the mix.
Wild life, take me away.
Also, side note, all the sounds are sidechained by the kick, so every time the kick hits, the volume of the sounds is lowered slightly, so the kick pierces through the mix a bit more. Anyways, now that we got the vocal, it sounds like this. The song is almost ready, so in the beginning we got the intro. I also added part of the vocal right here. So that's the intro, and we have this little fill with this breath in it. and then the outro. Just playing out without any drums. That's a little interesting song I made just randomly because I heard that first sound that I showed you. I was like, yeah, that's a cool sound. Let's make a song with it. So now let me show you the finished result. And if you want to check out my sample packs, link is below. And this full song is also below. Without further ado, here is the result.
One